Welcome back, everybody. We are in the Dome experience for our final Perry's Inside Scoop of the season. Matt Park along with Coach Babers as we get set for the QSAN Wake Forest Senior Day in the Dome Saturday and a 12:30 kickoff. And Coach, part of your team's job is motivation, getting from one game to the next, getting your team's best effort. Come Saturday, you got an 8-3 football team coming in here against your 4-win team. How do you do it?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that we're going to play for those seniors. They get an opportunity to play their last game at home, which is special. Only half the seniors in America get an opportunity to do that. And with our community and with our fans, we're going to try to send them out the right way. The
right way would be a crisp game. How do you achieve that? It seems like that's been elusive here for you.
If we get back to that Duke game when we were firing on all cylinders, offense, defense, and kicking game, that would be the type of game that I think we'd all feel fantastic about.
That was only a couple minutes ago, right?
2 weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah, so it's obvious that you're capable of it. It seems though, you look at the Louisville game, you were in contact the whole time. You were a play away from being a play away. What kept you from finishing there?
Well, I think some of it has to do with the coaching and the players on the other team. I thought those guys played extremely well. Their explosive players were explosive. We really didn't put their fires out, so to speak. We couldn't slow them down, and we tried to stay with them, but it's going to be really difficult for us to win shootouts in that manner at this time, at this stage. And Wake Forest is capable of the same thing. They score a lot of points, and we got to find a way to slow them down.
I know this is an off-season thing, but where are you in the development of explosive players? We saw Jawar Jordan, over 200 all-purpose yards, kickoff return, just kind of a pass out into the flat that he takes for 80 yards. That's one. Where do you go from there?
Well, I think you continue to recruit and you continue development. Just like Jawar, he's got an opportunity to be an outstanding player for us. I think there's other guys that once they learn exactly what's going on or they reach the physical development where they can get in there and be steady contributors, that we have more people like that.
So how do you deal with Jawar, who's specifically right at 4 games going into this one? So if he doesn't play, it doesn't count this year for him.
Well, we're going to make that decision when it gets a little bit closer to game time, but he's somebody that we're really excited about, and hopefully he's going to be around for a long period of time.
And if you do have guys that have played 2-3 games, it must feel like a luxury, right? I mean, somebody that expands your roster like never before in a game like this where you know it's your last. Some of those people that maybe have some value for you on a specific play.
You really do, but the thing you don't want to lose contact with is that you're still trying to win the football game, even though you're trying to evaluate some players at this stage of the game.
So we've seen Tommy DeVito in a year of education, right? We knew that would be the case right from the start, that this is his first time playing really at this level, of having the burden of being the man on his shoulders. Where is he right now in terms of his development?
If we can get him out of this game healthy where he can have a normal off season and get back into spring ball, I think he's right there. If you look at guys, the very first time they go out, whether they're in the NFL or whether they're in college, it's one of those, wow, is this the way it's supposed to be? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's the very first time that you get young men who are playing with guys a lot older. When you're 18, you're playing against 16-year-olds, it's not that big of a difference. When you're 19 and you start playing against 21, 22, 23, it is a big difference, especially for the males. So I think he's right there, but he's got to continue to develop.
And that's always especially true on the line, and that's among the reasons, you've had some problems this year. Well, you didn't have the guy you intended to start at center and the guy you intended to start at defensive tackle, for the most part, haven't played this year. That explains some of the issues.
Well, there's no doubt about that. We're not going to sit here and make excuses, because the same thing happened in 2019 with other football teams when we were making our run. 2018, when we were making our run. So we're not going to make those excuses, but there's no doubt that that had something to do with it.
You're not dismissing this game. I can tell you're chomping at the bit for the offseason, which is, again, an opportunity for growth and development of your program. It actually went into our Perry's fan question that came in here from Pete in Skinny Atlas, and Pete was asking about offseason. What is your biggest offseason priority?
The biggest offseason priority is, first of all, getting the defensive situation settled. There's no doubt about that, and deciding which way we're going to go and how we're going to attack that issue, and then turning around and getting the offense back on track. And I think that we're on the right track, but we're not going to wish for it to happen. Mm-hmm. We're going to make sure it happens in the off season so that we don't have to go through this again. And then we're going to be missing a fantastic punter. Sterling will be graduating, and we're going to need to fill that in with our young people that's coming, our young person that's coming in that I'm not allowed to talk about because of the NC2A rules, and solidify that kicking game again. And it all starts the day after this game is over. And you're right about one thing for sure. I'm chomping at the bits to make sure we're sitting here and it's a different situation next year.
Well, people probably don't understand. It's literally the transition from 2019 season to 2020 happens this weekend. It's very soon after the game. After the game with this group, you'll have your senior walk. I know that's something that's important to you in terms of continuing that bond, giving the guys sort of a positive note as they leave the field. This senior group, there's the 5-year guys that were here when you first got here. I know you always tell the story about Antoine Cordy, kind of just out there working out before you ever even met him.
That's true.
How about that group first, before we get to the 4-year guys, the 5 years? They had to go through a coaching change.
You know, they had to go through a coaching change, and they had to reassess their definition of faith and in believing in someone that didn't recruit them to come here. And I always appreciate that. Even, you know, the Cordys, the Bo Neals, the Rex Culpeppers, the guys that were already recruited by the previous staff, and yet they stayed. I appreciate those guys. And then you turn around with the other seniors that came here their very first year and just had faith, belief without evidence that we were going to get it done, that we're going to do something special here. And they have been a part of that. We would like for it to be more consistent than what it was, because right now we're occasional, but we're working on that. They're going to always be orange. And not only is their football experiences on the field going to be something that they can take with them all the time, but that Syracuse academic degree is going to be something that's going to knock down doors for them for a lifetime.
Sure. Quickly, a couple of guys that come to mind on that list of 4-year players that are playing their final game in the Dome. They happen to be on the defensive side, and they were, in essence, recruited to your previous roots. Literally, Evan Foster was a Bowling Green recruit. His brother had played for some of your guys there, including Nick Monroe. Kendall Coleman was maybe going to Western Michigan. He winds up coming here, and those guys made an impact for you.
Yeah, those MAC players were really, really good. And we need to get more guys like that, and guys are a lot better than that. But there's no doubt that their effort and their attitude and the way they handled their business on and off the football field is just outstanding. For the young men that you mentioned, and for Kendall to be a captain, I mean, it's really, really special. I am a better person for meeting these seniors and for meeting people like Kendall Coleman.
Okay, quick thought on Wake Forest as we head into this one. It's a team you beat on the road a year ago. They've bounced back. They're 8-3 this year. They're coming in hot. Coach Clausen's got them rolling. What sticks out most for you?
The biggest thing is that they have a fantastic dynamic quarterback that can make plays with his legs. They have an edge rusher who is I want to say, leading the ACC in sacks, or he's right up there. He really is. But the biggest thing is, once again, last year they had a lot of injuries. This year they really haven't had a lot of injuries. They've got 1 or 2 guys down, but they've been able to run this schedule without injuries. And when you're not at the top of our conference, I think that's the biggest thing for the teams that are right underneath that echelon, staying healthy so your good guys can be on the football field.
Sure, they're down a linebacker and a wide receiver, but have a lot of other key pieces in place there. So, Coach, we thank you for your time. We thank Perry's for their support of this segment throughout the year. We'll get some Perry's together in the summer, okay?
Let's get some ice cream, brother.
I love it. And you can get yours at perrysicecream.com. We appreciate their participating in the Perry's Inside Scoop throughout the year.